So how can you go from using entry-level credit cards that generally don't offer you much in the way of benefits or credit limits to using premium credit cards that offer large sign-up bonuses, a ton of benefits and user perks, and a large credit limit? Well, the easiest way to do this is by learning what the credit card ladder is and how to navigate it successfully. In simple terms, the credit card ladder is basically made up of 5 different tier levels, starting from credit builder cards or starter tier cards, all the way up to invite-only credit cards or elite tier cards. So in this video, I'll talk you through exactly how you can work your way up the credit card ladder and potentially end up earning hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in value each year of card ownership. And with that being said, let's jump straight into it. So starting at level 1 or the starter tier, you are looking at secure credit cards and student credit cards. These cards are generally designed for people who don't have any credit history and therefore don't require you to have a credit score. So pretty much anyone can apply for one of these cards and have a pretty good chance of getting approved. And a good rule of thumb is to try and find a card that doesn't have an annual fee, as there are plenty of good options at the base level that don't charge an annual fee. Student credit cards are targeted towards college students and generally have a very low credit limit, which is okay, because the point of a student credit card is to show creditors that you can be responsible with your credit card and consistently pay off any amount of debt you owe. And by doing this, you will start to build your credit score. Now, with a secure credit card, you are going to be required to put down a security deposit. And this amount varies from card to card. It can be as little as $200 up to more than $5,000. Basically, whatever amount you put into the security deposit will be your credit limit. And although it might seem pointless to only have a credit limit of $200, the main focus of this card, and any credit card to be honest, is to basically prove to creditors that you can be responsible with your credit card by paying off any amount of debt owing and by keeping your credit utilization below 30%. A simple example of this would be if you had a secure credit card with a credit limit of $300. If you had a balance of just $90, you're already using 30% of the total credit you have available. And whilst this might seem somewhat restrictive, it's just a way that lenders and creditors can gauge how you are actually managing your credit card. By keeping your credit utilization ratio below 30% basically signals to them that you are not at any risk of overspending. So you just need to make sure that you pay your statement credit due on time and in full consistently each and every month. And this is something I've done for years with my credit cards, and my credit score has remained over 800 as a result. So it definitely works. By sticking to this plan, you will start to move in the right direction, as it will help to build your credit score so you can then apply for more rewarding credit cards. Now, in terms of how long you will need to be at this level can vary quite a bit. For example, if you have continuously missed payments on previous credit cards and have a very low credit score, you are likely to spend more time building credit at this level compared to someone who has a clean slate. But a reasonable time period spent at this level would be approximately 1 year. And I know that this might seem like a lifetime, but it's an extremely important part of learning how to best manage your credit card and build credit appropriately. Now, a couple of secure credit cards worth considering would be the Discover It Secure Credit Card or the Quicksilver Secure Credit Card from Capital One. Both of these cards have no annual fee and have a minimum refundable security deposit of just $200. And best of all, they both offer cashback incentives just by using the cards. Now, a couple of worthwhile student credit cards worth considering are the Chase Freedom Student Credit Card and the Discover It Student Cashback Credit Card. And just like the previous 2 cards we looked at, there are no annual fees and there is the ability to earn cashback on purchases. So now let's move on to level 2, which is the beginner tier. And there are plenty of credit cards that fall into this category, some of which include the Chase Freedom Flex Credit Card, the Amex Blue Cash Everyday Card, and the Citi Custom Cash Card. And to be accepted for one of these cards, you will need to have a credit score of at least 670 or higher. Now, just like the previous cards I talked about, none of these cards have an annual fee, which is great. But you will now notice that they all offer a lot more value. These 3 cards all have a $200 cashback bonus, and both the Citi and Chase card offers up to 5% cashback, whereas the Amex card offers up to 3% cashback. Also, all of these cards have the capacity to offer you a larger credit limit if you meet their requirements. This can range from a minimum of $500 all the way up to $20,000. But remember, you will need to meet pretty strict requirements to get a $20,000 credit limit with one of these cards. Now, as I mentioned earlier with the level 1 or starter tier credit cards, you will still want to do pretty much exactly the same thing in terms of management, which is always pay off any amount owing on your card in full and on time consistently, and of course, keep your credit utilization ratio below 30%. Which should be a bit easier now, as I would expect you to have a higher credit limit with one of these credit cards. So in terms of how long you will need to be at this level before you can move up to a level 3 or mid-tier credit card may vary a bit, but generally speaking, I would aim for approximately 1 year. Now, if you're happy with a level 2 or beginner tier credit card and don't feel like you need a more expensive or exclusive credit card, then it's totally fine just to keep the card you have and take advantage of the benefits that it offers. Seeing that they have no annual fee and still offer some reasonable benefits make them great credit cards for a lot of people who don't need or want a high-tier, high-cost credit card. Now, moving on to level 3 or mid-tier credit cards, you will start to see larger sign-up bonuses and quite a lot more benefits and user perks. Along with this, there will also be an annual fee associated with these cards, but it's usually relatively easy to justify the cost of the annual fee, as all of these cards I'll show you come with benefits that easily cover the cost of the actual annual fee. And to be accepted for one of these cards, you will generally need to have a credit score of at least 700 or higher. Now, with these tier 3 cards, you will start to notice that a lot of them start to offer you points as opposed to cashback. And this is a good thing, as these points can then be redeemed for a wide variety of different benefits, most commonly travel. And if redeemed correctly, these points can be quite valuable and end up rewarding you with free hotel stays and flights. Now, don't worry if you're not interested in traveling, as points with all of these cards can be used for a ton of other benefits. So 2 cards in this category that I specifically like are the Chase Sapphire Preferred card, which costs $95 each year, and then the Amex Gold card, which costs $250 on an annual basis. And one reason I like these cards is that they offer flexible points, which means that you can use these points on a wide variety of different benefits, such as hotel stays or flights. Now, there are other credit cards that fall into this category that don't offer flexible point earnings, such as the Hilton Honors American Express Surpass card or the World of Hyatt credit card from Chase. And these cards are fine if you know you'll be able to take advantage of the points at either Hilton Hotels or Hyatt Hotels. But in my opinion, the Chase Sapphire Preferred card and the Amex Gold card are more user-friendly, as they do offer you more flexibility with how you can use your points. So with the Chase Sapphire Preferred card, it is possible to earn 60,000 bonus points as a sign-up bonus after spending $4,000 on purchases within the first 3 months of card ownership. These points are worth up to $750 if redeemed through Chase Ultimate Rewards, which is almost 8 times the value of the annual fee. Now, alternatively, it is possible to transfer these points at a 1-to-1 value to 11 different airline partners or 3 different hotel travel partners. Along with this, there is $50 in statement credits each account anniversary year for hotel bookings made through Chase Ultimate Rewards. So this means that this card will only cost you $45 for the annual fee. In terms of earning points, it is possible to earn 5 times points on travel purchased through Chase Ultimate Rewards, 3 times points on dining, grocery store purchases and select streaming purchases, then 2 times points on regular travel purchases, then all other purchases earn 1 point per dollar spent. With the Amex Gold card, it is currently possible to earn 60,000 membership reward points after spending $4,000 on purchases within the first 6 months of card ownership. These points are worth around $600 if redeemed through AmexTravel.com, but can be worth even more if transferred to one of the many travel partners. Now, to help justify the $250 annual fee, there is a $120 dining credit and then $120 in Uber Cash that can be used to either dine or ride with Uber. In terms of earning membership reward points, it is possible to earn 4 times points at restaurants worldwide and on groceries up to $25,000 each year. You will then earn 3 times points on flights, and then everything else will earn you 1 point per dollar spent. So in terms of how long you will need to be at level 3 or the mid-tier before moving up to the next level, I would say around 6 months, but it can be quite a bit quicker if you are desperate to get to the next level. Now, moving on to level 4 or premium tier credit cards, you are going to start to see that these cards offer quite a lot more benefits and perks than all of the previously mentioned cards. Things like airport lounge access, higher levels of insurance coverage, and premium status with different hotels and airlines. And the credit score needed for these cards is at least 720 or higher. Basically, you will need an excellent credit score. Then, along with all of these extra benefits, you will notice that the annual fees are substantially higher. 2 cards that I specifically like and have at this level are the American Express Platinum card, which has an annual fee of $695, and then the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, which has an annual fee of $550. Both of these cards come with a whole range of valuable benefits that can easily offset the cost of the annual fee. One other card that is definitely worth considering at this level is the Capital One Venture X card, which has an annual fee of $395. Which is quite a bit less than the other 2 cards. This card actually provides you with a $300 annual travel credit and 10,000 bonus miles each year, which just happens to be worth $100. So technically you get paid $5 each year just to have the card. And this doesn't include the sign-up bonus or other benefits that come with this card. And if you want to learn more about these 3 cards, check out my in-depth review and comparison of them here. Now, in terms of how long you will need to be at this tier before leveling up really depends on a couple of things. First of all, you will need to be making quite a lot of money, and then you will also need to be spending a fair bit on your credit card. So finally, we have reached the top of the ladder to level 5, or the ultra premium tier. And these cards are invite only, which means they can be quite difficult to acquire. Two cards that fall into this category are the Amex Centurion card and the JP Morgan Reserve card. Now, if you're lucky enough to be invited to apply for one of these cards, you are either going to need a lot of money or spend a lot of money to meet the requirements of each card. First of all, with the Centurion card, it is rumored that you will need to spend in excess of $250,000 each year on your current Amex cards just to be considered for the black card. And then if and when you are invited to apply for the card, there is a pretty steep annual fee of $5,000. And that's not all. New cardholders will also be required to pay an initiation fee of $10,000. So it's going to cost you $15,000 just to get the card, which is pretty insane. And although it is generally considered an invite-only card, it is actually possible to apply for the card. And I've left a link to the application page in the description below. Then with the JP Morgan Reserve card, the annual fee is much more reasonable, coming in at $595 each year. But that's not the difficult part of acquiring this card. It is rumored that you will need to have approximately $10 million in liquid cash or managed assets with Chase Bank before they will consider sending you an invite. Now, both of these cards come with some pretty fantastic benefits. And if you'd like to learn more about both cards, check out my full in-depth review here, where I go over everything there is to know about each card. Now, I must say that it would be really nice to have either one of these cards, but they are not necessarily the best credit cards out there. They are almost more of a way to flex or show off the fact that you either make a lot of money or spend a lot of money. So as you can see, it is possible to climb the so-called credit card ladder if you can prove that you are responsible with money and have a reasonable income. Now, that's not always so easy to do, as there is some conflicting information out there about how to actually build your credit score, which is a major part of actually climbing the credit card ladder. So make sure to check out this video here, where I'll show you how to increase your credit score to over 800 in the quickest and easiest way possible. And as always, thanks for watching the video.